Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for this special edition session. I'm Itzik Amiel, and we are here today to switch on and share some light on an important subject and also an opportunity to join an important conference in Tel Aviv that will take place on the 29th of November 2022, and soon more details. And you're invited to join us. If you're watching us live, we are live, and you can just join. And I will suggest warmly, if you're joining us, please type your name on the chat box and let us know where you're dialing from. I can see already people joining. Max from Germany, thank you very, very much. Yap from the Netherlands, welcome. Glad to see you. I can see a lot of you: Diana, Rajiv, Luciana, Berto, Morani, Ked, Rajesh, Pardo. All of you joining, just put your name on the chat box. Let us know. Our guests would like to know that you're here with us, that we are not alone talking to ourselves. So today we're going to talk about redefining legal innovation. Or in other words, practical insights on implementation of legal innovation in law firms and legal departments. And I think that subject that attracted a lot of people. Thanks a lot for those of you joining. Sarah from New York, awesome. I think by the end of the day, I think I will ask our president of the European Legal Tech Association to change it to probably WLTA, the World Legal Tech Association. We have more from all over the world people joining us. Awesome for that. Because I have the honor to have this live session with two great, amazing people. Today, my special guests and also ELTA friends and out of ELTA friends are Holger, and I forgot to ask Holger how to pronounce his family name. Hope he will tell us very soon. The president of the European Legal Tech Association, as well as the managing director of Infotropic Media, and Zohar Fisher, founder of Tech and Law in Israel and the founder of Robust and the Israeli ambassador for ELTA. So without further ado, let me bring them both into our stream. Welcome, Holger. Welcome, Zohar. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, hi Itzik. Thanks for having us, and hi to everybody who joined us.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for the call. Oh, I see my head is here. My head is already big, but here it is.
Thank you very much for both of you joining us, and thanks for the time, Holger and Zohar, for a valuable time to have and share your knowledge and idea with our viewers. I see people are still joining us. Again, those who are joining, please type your name in the chat and where you're from, so we'll be able to see that you are with the room. Now, with our permission, Holger and Zohar, let me set the stage to our conversation for our viewers. Because for lawyers and legal counsels, innovation in delivering legal services has become a kind of talisman, if you want, a much desired key to unlocking the vast productivity and maybe at a little cost. But legal innovation has to be about more than just technology, but thinking about how to make law firms and legal department more innovative can be a difficult endeavor. In fact, and I know it because speaking to a lot of lawyers, when law firms leader get the mix right, and they get intentional and practical about their approach for legal innovation, we consider proactive leaders may be able to focus less on resistance to innovation in the firms. Instead, they might more be concerned about keeping up with it. I think that's what you see a lot of people. So innovation is a hot topic of conversation among legal professionals, but most law firm and legal organization, and I dare to say loudly, again, talking to a lot of them around the world, haven't moved the needle as much as one might expect. That brings me actually to the first question to you. The first question I want to know from you, and for the sake of our viewers, and I will address it to you, Olger, why trying to bring innovation to the legal industry? What at all? Because if business is great as it is, leave it alone.
Yeah, well, first of all, nothing lasts forever. So if your industry and your particular law firm is feeling very well at the moment, I hope it will continue, but there's no guarantee. And that's through to the ages. If you get back 30 years, we have seen a lot of innovation happening in other industries and a lot of change happening. So talk to the people of Kodak. In 1996, Kodak was a 28 billion company. In 2012, they went bankrupt. And look at the irony, they have been the inventors of digital photography. They just resisted it because it was, as they perceived it, an attack on their primary business model. So they were selling films for, I don't know, $4 a piece for 36 images, and then somebody came up and said, "Oh, you can take 1,000 images on your card, and you can throw 500 away, and you can digitally change them on your computer." So that was a really perceived as a threat. Instead of embracing that technology, they fought against it, so they went bankrupt. And you saw it into the travel industry, in the financial industry, in retail, in a lot of other industries. And now I guess it's time for the legal industry. So there's nothing constant. Change will happen, and if you don't go with that change, if you adapt to that change, somebody will come in. There's no industry where there are so high of obstacles to enter that industry that nothing will change over, I don't know, 10, 15, 50 years. So I would say the legal industry is ripe for a lot of change. And second, even if your particular business is in great shape, if your business is really good, then nothing should prevent you from making it even better. So there's always way to improve, always room to improve. So why not enter a new market, or enter new or gain new wallet share with your customers? Do something better, cheaper, quicker, whatever you can do to fine tune your business, it's good. Or if you can bring down costs by introducing technology, so you will increase the margin. Also, why not? And that's only, we are looking only on the business side. If you're looking at the human side of legal innovation, implementing technology and so on, and it's not only about technology, as you said, then it's becoming even more apparent that change should happen. So everybody in the legal industry at the moment is talking about the Great Resignation. Lawyers leaving their law firms, leaving the industry. So mainly at the moment, it's still leaving one law firm for the other, or leaving law firms for legal departments. But more and more lawyers are leaving the industry entirely. So that's a huge issue everybody's talking about. And as I see, it's only the tip of the iceberg. If you look at substance abuse among lawyers, nobody wants to talk about, but it's a real issue, or suicide. So I looked up statistics. Lawyers are only second to the medical profession in terms of suicide in a profession. And if you taking into account that legal professions have much better access to stuff that can kill you, then probably the legal industry lawyers are in peril. So they have a 6 times larger suicide rate than the population on average. So that's really a horrific picture. So something should change here as well. And if you could change how you practice law, how you deliver legal service, and to make it more human for your own employees, that would be really a good step in the right direction. And if you look at the other human side, your clients, we already see that for a couple of decades, that the gap between supply and demand in the B2C market is widening. So a lot of people, well, according to estimates, 80% of the population in every civilized country doesn't have access to legal services. So that's, if you look at any other sector, if 80% of people wouldn't have access to clean water, to education, or to medical care, people would be rioting in the streets. So why shouldn't people have access to quality legal services? But a lot of people can't afford it, even in countries like the US, Germany, UK, which is nonsense in my opinion. So something should be changed, that people can have that access in a business model of the legal industry.
Thank you for that, Holger. Before I forget, Holger, I didn't ask you for how do you pronounce your family name. You have to help us out.
It's Zscheyge, but frankly, nobody knows me by that.
No, because I see all the people that are joining around the world, and I'm looking at the family now, and because we really have international audience. We have Sarah from New York again, Dimitro from Mozambique, Mustafa in the Netherlands, Lorena from Lima, Peru. Thank you for all of you for joining. Again, if you have a question for our guest, please put it also in the chat. I would love to ask him your question as well, and even skip my own question. But one thing I think you said rightly, Holger, and I think I like it, and I don't want people to hear you and get the wrong message. We are not dealing here with what they call in the marketing, what fear marketing. Holger is not kind to scare you, and then maybe it's reality. I mean, if you compare our industry to our industries and you see what happened, we all know if you're in the front of the profession, there will be law firms that will wipe out. So if you don't wake up over there, and the fact that you've been centuries ago practicing law doesn't make any difference to you to change and innovate. So innovation is part of, as Olga said, part of change that coming to us, forced on us. We have to do it. And if you're not, and it's not only technology, as indeed is mentioned. So, we're becoming smart here, and I want to thank everybody joining us again for listening. I mean, again, if you want to put your name in the chat, we'll be happy to. And you're learning, those who are joining right now, we're learning about, or you're invited to learn about defining legal innovation, because a lot of us not correctly think it's only about legal tech. So we understood about the purpose of bringing a legal innovation into the legal industry, Olga. But looking at your background, Zohar, and I'll address you, and you've worked in traditional legal industry. That's what I know for many years as a lawyer, etc. And you switched to the legal technology, and I know there was a story there behind. So my next question for you is why, and how this switch really connect to legal innovation?
Well, first, I didn't want to commit suicide. According to the statistics. No, I'm joking. Or I'm not. Anyway, I was in. It's a good question because it's all happened of chance, and I'm really happy about this whole thing about chance. I was in a conference in London. I was in a legal marketing conference in London, and also meeting some clients and colleagues in Magic Circle and Civil Circle law firms. And like we're here on LinkedIn on your beautiful show, I just put on LinkedIn that I'm going to be in London, and if someone is available for a meeting, I think you taught me that, Itzik. Every time, say where you are at. And one of my friends living in London said, listen, there's a very interesting conference. We're speaking about 2015, something like that, about 7 or 8 years ago. He said, there's a very interesting conference about technology. You should go. And he sent me free passes. I like free passes, but I said, technology is excellent, but what exactly? He said, it's not technology, it's technology in the legal industry. And that sounds peculiar for me, because for me, the most advanced technology item in a lawyer's work, day-to-day work is Microsoft Word. And if you're a bit more advanced, is the track changes option on Microsoft Word. So I went to the conference, and I told it my team a few days ago. I felt like Alice in Wonderland. I felt like I fell through the loophole, and it wasn't a large conference. It's back in 2015, but all of a sudden you saw algorithms and software. They're doing the ongoing, tedious, boring, not so intelligent legal stuff that needs to be done. Document overview, highlighting a few things, putting in context a few of the elements, all by algorithms. And once again, we're speaking about 7 or 8 years ago, which were then at the beginning of the whole legal technology jargon.
The audience were lawyers, Zohar?
Most of them were, well, I think it was divided into 3 layers. The first one were lawyers, that most of them were with a surprise face like myself. The other third, wearing jeans and t-shirts, were the startups and the high-tech guys. And the other third, with very expensive suits, were the friends from the venture capital and private equity entities, just walking around and sniffing the environment. And when I went out of this conference and got back to Israel, I said, there is no way that in Israel, which is also known as the startup nation, where there's huge amount of technology and innovation in the cybersecurity, in the financial technology, in the gaming industry, and almost in the agricultural and so forth, there is no way that Israel shouldn't be on the map of legal technology.
And you just lawyers, right, as well.
Yeah. And I got back home, initiated Tech and Law Israel, and started pumping information and knowledge, seminar, conferences about what it's all about. The first conference we had back in 2016, I think, it was a huge one. We had close to 50-something people a huge conference. And I remember people just jumping in and saying, all right, it sounds interesting. And the recent conference we had back in 2019, which the former president of the European Legal Tech Association came in to be the keynote speaker, we were close to 500 people. So you see the incline that after 3 or 4 years, it's came to 500 people are interested about this turf. And I'm positive that that's the future. It can't be that that if we want to order a taxi, we're using an app. If we want to order food, we're using an app. If we want to use attorneys, we can use app/technology. And there are so many things, so many tedious, ongoing things that attorneys are doing on a day-to-day basis that technology can solve. And I'm really fascinated about this turf. In full disclosure, we're also investing in some interesting legal tech companies. And of course, we're assisting them on their day-to-day basis. And most of them, we're trying to aim them abroad. Because as Holger said, law is not necessarily limited to any specific country. There are a few amendments in each law, of course, for each country. But in the commercial, in the contracts, in the M&A, in the ongoing commercial business life, there are a lot of things which are pretty much similar. It doesn't matter if you're in Tel Aviv or in Amsterdam or in Durban. And I like seeing it being built together. And I'm really excited about this conference.
Awesome. That's very insightful, your story of Zohar, because it's proof that everybody could start there. It's not that you have born in the industry and you have to learn. I mean, if you're just curious enough and just go out of your circle and find it out, you'll find information maybe you never heard before. And I will call everybody there to find opportunities, because we're going to share with you today soon about more opportunities for you to join conferences like that maybe you'll feel exactly like Zohar felt when you joined the one in London. And I must admit, Zohar and Holger, that listening to you, I mean, I'm a bit sad because, in my background, I'm an IT guy before becoming a lawyer. And for years, I used to come with ideas, and people said, no, it's not our industry. And I said, hello, look at the pilot industry. They are in simulator for ages. Look at the doctors from the beginning of the century. So when people say, let's look at the future of legal services, I said, it's not future. It's actually past. We are primitive industry, if you wanted to say. Look at all the other industry that already used doing it for tens of decades, and we are just coming now. So it's no doubt in my heart, not only that it will come, it will accelerate everything else, because we should learn from other industry, if you agree with me or not.
Absolutely. Whenever we were coaching, especially when we were working and talking to students, technology, computer science students all around Israel and abroad, we're telling them, listen, there is a blue ocean in the legal tech industry. It's starting to get a bit packed, but it's a blue ocean. And if you're an entrepreneur with a good enough idea, it doesn't necessarily has to be the best idea with artificial intelligence and big data manipulation. No, you can, for example, you can just focus on how attorneys are going to write down their hourly fee. That's it. It sounds very simple. Why won't an attorney write down his hourly fee and write how many hours he worked for a client? But attorneys and the attorneys who are with us today knows that it's a huge problem for law firms. Partners, associates, even paralegals are just being, I wouldn't say lazy, forgetting. They're forgetting to put down the hours. A legal tech industry needs to solve this very, very simple thing. It's trying to, and you don't need to be an Einstein to solve it. And this is how entrepreneurs can enter this fascinating sector. There is so much money to be made, and there is so much innovation to be made.
Great. And I think before you solve the hourly fee, I hope that lawyers stop charging by hour. But that will be hopefully soon as well. So I'm here, by the way, those who are joining us with Holger and Zohar, speaking on defining legal innovation. And you're very welcome to join us. So don't go away. We're still live. And I want to say hi to those who are joining us now: Diana, Alexandra, Mirel, David, Bosch. Again, put your name in the chat. Let us know you're here. If you have questions as well, in the chat, that's the right place to put it, so I can address our guests with your question. Now, if you're interested in learning more about ELTACon 22, we're going to talk about it soon. And to join us, check out the conference website. I'm going to share with all of you before you're leaving, which is eltacon2022.com, eltacon22.com. That's where you can find information about the conference. We're going to share more information right now with you about. I think you don't want to go before writing it down. And of course, if you also check the ELTA website, if you want to know more about the European Legal Tech Association at europe-legaltech.org, the European Legal Tech Association. If you've never heard about it before, that's the time. By the way, Holger is with us. He's the president, and you want to really to join. This different sort of organization, very practical oriented, amazing, nice people, no bullshit around. And I promise you, you will enjoy being there. And if you want to make sure you never miss one of the weekly Switch On series, interview series, I'll suggest you follow me on LinkedIn, go to the Switch Out website. You can sign up, get my business development strategies and tips, and you'll be added to our email list where you get a regular reminder about our fantastic guests like today. So let's continue our important topic of defining legal innovation. And of course, the next obvious question I should ask is about ELTA annual conference, the ELTACon, that will take place in Israel this year. So my question is, and I don't know any of you could answer, is what is ELTACon and what makes actually Israel, I mean Israeli myself, but what is makes Israel the perfect place for legal innovation and technology conference? So maybe I split it. What is ELTACon? Maybe Olga, you can answer, and Zohar, as ambassador for Israel, can answer why Israel.
Yeah, just in one sentence, ELTACon is the annual conference of the European Legal Technology Association. So that's where we combine our members, our experts, and share information, share knowledge, best practices, and so on. But Zohar can way better explain why we choose Israel this time.
Yeah, the conference is taking place in Tel Aviv, in Israel. Tel Aviv was chosen around a year ago as one of the best hotspots for legal technology worldwide on a global scale. And the reason is so much innovation and talent. I wanted to bore you with details, but for example, on NASDAQ, of course, the American US companies are the first companies being traded on NASDAQ. The second country that has the highest number of companies traded on NASDAQ is Israel. And Israel is a tiny country. I think 9 million people is the number. And the vast majority of the Fortune 100 companies, 500 companies, has R&D centers here in Israel. There's so much innovation, technology, and striving to get for the next big thing here in Israel. So many companies, global companies, go out from here. And it's a great location for a few reasons. The first one is the weather, which has nothing to do with legal technology, but it's winter right now, and it was really sunny today. It doesn't say it's not gonna, maybe it might rain in a couple of weeks, but it's really fun. And I would say there are a lot of people in the Mediterranean Sea on the beachfront today. The second thing, I'm not going to discuss alcohol and parties because it has nothing to do with the conference. Let's focus on technology and innovation. The second thing is, on the second day of the conference, we're going to have a Startup Nation tour. It's going to be hosted by one of Israel's largest law firms, and they're going to invite companies from all over Tel Aviv and from all over Israel to meet with the people coming either from abroad or from here, from Israel, to explain how an idea is becoming a company, how someone that has some kind of, maybe we can do so and so, how you are rolling it over and making it a NASDAQ traded company with all the obstacles in the middle, and it's order to give inspiration to the people coming in and also to have great networking along the way. And the third is, in the conference itself, we're going to have representative from both Israeli legal tech companies and legal related companies who are going to exhibit their products, and they're going to speak on stage about what to do, how to do. And I think one of the focal points is COVID-19 evolution, or so they say revolution of the legal industry. Because currently we're doing that, all three of us is in their homes or offices, and it's a very ordinary thing. Prior to COVID, especially in the legal sector, an attorney needed an attorney and associate of someone to be present next to him. He wanted someone to make the machines work. Currently, everything is online, as there is uh, so much room for the legal innovation to push forward. And if someone is either an entrepreneur or a representative of a law firm or a general counsel who wants to see not just the next big thing, but also how to think in 2022 about the legal innovation and legal transformation, I think it should come in. And once again, it has nothing to do with the amounts of alcohol and good food in Tel Aviv.
And I can bet,
Now
of
we
course,
lost half of the participants.
not at all. I mean, I can bet for the weather because I got married on 19 November, so I know the weather could be very sunny and wonderful. So I definitely think for that. I mean, we have actually, before I continue, I have a question from the audience from Sarah from New York, and I want any of you to answer. But Sarah said, and she's right, she said, how do you keep tech from interfering with relationship by putting tech in between people? So any thoughts maybe from the SEC, or maybe it's something you'll deal also with ELTACon?
Well, it's an interesting question. Usually, tech should not interfere with personal relationships. So tech is just an instrument, technology. So we shouldn't, even if you are called the European Legal Technology Association, we shouldn't focus entirely on technology. Technology is just an instrument. So you can take a hammer and you can get a nail into the wall. You can take a hammer, you could put it on your finger, and so it's just what you make out of it. And of course, every business is a people's business, and the legal industry is a people's business. People are talking to people. People are solving other people's problems, legal problems. So that's something maybe in the very distant future an AI can help with that, not replace it, but help with that. But at the moment, of course, and we had that a very interesting moment at the last ELTACon in Madrid when a lady was talking about legal technology and the limits of technology that technology can do to help people solving their legal problems. And she said, consider you're coming home late at night after a hard day's work, and you find out that your ex-boyfriend changed the locks on your apartment. You don't want to talk to a chatbot. You want to talk to a human lawyer and get a very good answer how to get that son of a bitch to court and make him suffer. So that's the human side of the legal industry. So technology should not go into in between the relationship between a client and a lawyer, between lawyers. So it should help them to become better, and that's the human side what I was referring to make it better. If you can use technology so that lawyers can work from 9 to 5 like every other professional on the planet, that would be a huge step. But it should not become between lawyers. So lawyers should. Well, I see a lot of discussions after 5 minutes about legal technology and end up talking about AI and how a robot will replace a human lawyer. That's totally wrong. First of all, it will never happen. Second, we shouldn't think in that dimensions. We should think how we can work better, faster, with less tedious work and so on. That's where technology should come into the picture.
And I think with you, Holger. I mean, I think I should add, as always speaking on it on stage, the human factor is there are for sure thing only human can produce, what we call the human distant behavior. And lawyers, trust, reliability, care, attention, all those things only human can do. Now, the thing I think Sarah is mentioning, I think is a very important point, is that you see a lot of people talking about legal tech or innovation out of the fear to talk about more important, because indeed legal tech innovation all came to make it more efficient to solve all this issue. And at the end of the day, you're going to end up with the thing that's most important, the human skills, and most of the lawyers do not have them. So I think that's where we're going. And I think a lot of people are hanging on the legal tech, because look how many legal tech events happening. But if you listen between the line, what people are talking about is about human connections. Because without it, you're not going to have artificial intelligence. You're not going to be able to copy people's behavior and make it more efficient. I mean, that's exactly what the whole idea behind. Look at how people work and make it more efficient by the help of technology or innovation. So I think I like your answer. And I think, Sarah, you're into the right point, and it's definitely for discussion within the firm. So I want to continue with you guys. And those who are joining, we're almost at the end. We have one more question to both Holger and Zohar. And I think, again, we mentioned many times in this session the ELTACon 2022. Those of you who's asking is in Tel Aviv on the 29th of November 2022, exactly 2 weeks from now. And I'm not sure how many of you are really aware of that conference, but now you are. And definitely it's not too late to register. So I'll suggest go to the website, register, and move it. Definitely if you are in facilities, come over. It's not so far, and you'll thank us afterward. Now, this year, as you both mentioned, is in my home country, Israel, the startup nation. And having that in mind, my next question is, what's so special about ELTACon 2022? And I think Zohar mentioned it in between the line. But why attendees or what attendees can expect that they cannot get elsewhere? Because there's so many legal tech events, but this one is different. It's special. Why?
Well, apart from from the moment that you can get, it's probably the only legal tech conference you can get back with a 10 in November. But on a serious note, we always have been very focused on practical issues on all the ELTA conference and on the work of ELTA in general. But this year we already picked this as a slogan, let's get practical, because we recognize that a lot of legal tech conferences, they're talking a lot about the why people should use technology, why should law firms become more innovative and so on. It's only the why, but nobody is touching the how, where do you start, how do you do that? And we want to provide this year a real blueprint for everybody, for law firms, legal departments, for legal tech startups as well, so they are part of that equation. So starting from defining a legal innovation strategy, where do you start, what do you use, how to find the right technologies in a growing pool of solutions, what will fit you, a business development strategy for legal tech vendors, a business model canvas for law firms. So you have heard about legal tech, about legal innovation, but how do you make a product for your clients? What do you do in order to use the technology for something good that can help your clients, that can help your firm become more profitable, or your people less have to work less, and so on. So that's something. We even have a very practical keynote. Usually the keynote is about something strategic, something in the future, a lot of BS, but we have a really a practical keynote on the subject of AI, but not on that subject, how AI will replace human lawyers, but a tool provided free of charge by IBM. So Eyal Snark is one of the employees of IBM Israel. He will talk about the tool they developed, that every lawyer without any coding knowledge, without any programming knowledge, can build an AI model in the document analytics space. So if you have a specific request, you want to analyze your documents for a specific task, you can build with any prior knowledge an AI model and test your hypothesis on that model, all free of charge. So there's only one question: why don't you start with that? So that's a very practical approach, a very practical keynote. So on every topic we choose, there you see a red line, and you see basically a blueprint how to proceed with legal innovation. So that's where we think we are different from a lot of other conferences. Not to rain on the competition, but we really are focused on practical issues.
And I think I will own the witness on that. I think all the three people here, I mean, our guests, Zohar and Holger and myself, I think we are very practical people. We hate BS. We hate just people talking without implementing. I think this conference you heard is about practical implementation. You're going to go out of your blueprint. If you want to bring your legal tech innovation, your ideas, you want to meet the right people, you want to learn how to do this right strategies, and as Zohar said, even go listing your company at the end, or your exit strategies, that's a place to be, because you're going to learn how to do it. You connect to the right people, and you build the right relationship to when you need to their help and support, they'll be there for you. I would suggest warmly consider it seriously, because it's not another legal tech conference. And I would not move to go there to be part of that conference if it's not practical. So I want you to consider it seriously. I don't see any question coming. I want to see a remark. Zohar, I don't know if you want to add something, but I see Adri Brink said, tax is the most important subject for every ruler, no human interest. And he also adding, lawyers cannot program computers. I'm not sure about that, Adri. I'm a lawyer and I know very well to compare a computer. So, Zohar, do you want to add anything else before we have some closing words?
No, I'm just really looking forward for the conference itself. And I was just listening to Holger. I'm so into this conference, but listening to Holger, it's some of the topics are going to be not just practical, but also a jump into the future to see where we are at. Legal technology for the people watching at home. If you're not into legal technology, you're missing a very interesting and large hype, which is just going to be on an incline scale, because whenever there is a blue ocean for opportunities, there is where people are going. And there's also niches within legal technology about RegTech, for example, regulatory technology, and so forth and so forth. It's really expanding, and I think it's one of the best things to go and have a look, a peek behind the fence and see what's going on the other side. It's fascinating.
Awesome. And that's also a good opportunity to shout out to all the Zohar and his team, Robust, to organizing it, all the board of ELTA and Holger who is leading, and everybody, all the unsung heroes we don't hear behind the scene, working hard right now to make it happen. So I would suggest you come, bring them something with you, because that's an amazing opportunity to be part of a community that's just growing and still growing. So it's not too late. Pick up yourself, get yourself for 1 day, even 2 days to Israel. You would love the opportunity to meet there. I want to just summarize it by saying that innovation is often a buzzword and a byword maybe of technology, but the rhetoric around the benefit of low tech or legal tech has been so great in recent years that many assume that it is the best and only solution, especially if they want to take an innovative approach. Now, though low tech really or legal tech has a huge range of benefits, when implemented and used correctly, it is only a small part of what innovation is. And in many instances, innovation could and should simply means doing the day-to-day things better. This can often be missed in favor of the new shiny things. So don't think it's just that way, especially as a pressure mount for firms, the legal department, to do things differently. And I want to summarize the great session, the quote from William Brody, who said, "What is the calculus of innovation? Calculus of innovation is really quite simple. Knowledge drives innovation. Innovation drives productivity. Productivity drives economic growth." So now, my friend, it's time to take action. And we want you to join us to ELTACon 2022. Go now and register there. It will take place again in Tel Aviv on the 29th of November, 2022, exactly 2 weeks from today. And it promised to be a very valuable conference with many practical insight on legal innovation and legal tech. We've been here with Holger Zscheyge, the president of European Legal Tech Association. Thank you very much, Holger. And Zohar Fisher, founder of the Tech and Law Israel. And I want to thank both of you now, Zohar and Holger, for this fantastic having you here. I mean, it took longer than we thought, but still a lot of questions and interest. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be with you.
And all three of us want to thank those of you joining us who are still with us here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening in. Thank you for seeing this important subject. And of course, if you have more questions, you're very welcome to send it over, even in the chat. We'll answer you. I'm Itzik Amiel. I hope to see you soon in one of the upcoming LinkedIn Live episodes, or even live in Tel Aviv. So now it's time to switch on and be practical about legal innovation. So bye for now, everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you very much.